Assalamu alaikum. This is Department of English Government Postgraduate College Attock. We have been studying Melodic Trains by John Ashbery, and in our previous lectures we discussed different aspects of its text. Today we will try to sum it up. Now the poem, as we explained earlier, is a set of images, and just like any other postmodern poem, the images might not seem to be connected, or they might not seem to have any kind of coherent thread running through them. Same is here, that the poet is invoking different kind of images. He is mentioning different kind of thoughts, and those thoughts, they do not seem to be connected, and do not seem to have any kind of inherent connection. Here in these lines, as you can see, that the poet, he uses this illusion to the Greek chorus, and how he compares the different stages of the journey with the singing of the chorus. As in Greek tragedy, the choral odes, they were an indication of different stages of the play. Same is the case here. And then the poet says that all these people who are on the station, or the girl sitting just opposite to him, he and then he talks about the clouds which are visible from the window, and he is comparing them with great white apples, and he says that he wants to convey this concern of his to these people. There must be some way to communicate this thought of him to those people who are so much concerned with their desires, who want to reach somewhere, and in the process forgetting the fact that life is all about journey and there is no destination. This proximity and apping of postures is that somehow, if he cannot communicate this concern of him through language, he might communicate it with through using his body language or some postures, and through those postures he might be able to communicate to them that their attitude towards life is not the way it should be, that their jagged attitudes correspond to mine. And then we see that he again uses this image of the zipper that he has used earlier in the poem, and he says that when the train opens, when the train moves, it opens the landscape just like a zipper. Just like a zipper, when it is moved and it opens, it reveals the inner shirt of a person who is wearing a jacket. If the jacket, or if the zipper of the jacket, it is moved, then it would slightly open, and it would show what lies inside. And this, it means that when the train opens, when the train moves, it also opens the landscape just like a zipper. This is another very powerful image, and a very strange kind of uh, metaphor that is being used here. Each voice has its own descending scale to put one in one's place at every stage. And again, he refers back to the chorus and the use of the chorus as a kind of analogy, that at every stage of the journey, how the chorus, or the people who are singing the chorus, they uh, in a way, their descending voices, that is when the play moves on, the voice of the chorus, the voices of the chorus, because of the tragic ending of the tragedy, it descends, it becomes more tragic, it becomes sadder. Um so through those voices, through those singing voices, one can tell what stage of the journey one is on. One need not know where one is unless one gives up listening, sleeping, approaching a small western town that is nothing but a windmill. And the poet says that if you really want to know what stage of journey you are, you just have to listen to those voices, and you do not have to look outside to tell that where the train is. And if you would stop listening, and for example you are sleeping, then you will not know that the train is about to approach a western town, and that town is very small, it is nothing but a windmill. Then the great fury of the end can drop as the solo voices tell about it, and then the end of the tragedy as the chorus, the chorigos, the main singer of the chorus, he would um, sing about the end of the tragedy, about the end of the journey, and the solo voice of him, it would tell you that you can tell by that solo that the journey is about to an end, breathing it somehow with an aura of good fortune and closure welcomes from the mayor and citizens committees tossing their hats into the air. And then when the last station would arrive, then there might be that the mayor of the town, the most important person, the politician of the town, he would come to receive the guests, and how those guests they would be throwing their hats into the air to celebrate the coming home of these people. To hear them singing, you would think it had already happened, and we had focused back on the furniture of the air. And then, when you hear those voices singing, it would suddenly occur to you as if all this has already happened. And then you start looking at the furniture of the air. The furniture of the air means the bird lies at the sky, the clouds and the birds and everything. And you stop listening to those songs, and you focus on the furniture of the air. Now, this is the end of our poem, and by looking at the text, you might have known by now that this is a postmodern poem, and like any other postmodern poem, this poem also does not have any kind of coherent thought or a thread or what connects it, its inherent structure. It is something quite vague and unclear, and these poets, the postmodern poets, they would deliberately make their poems unclear and vague because they believe that there is nothing, um, that the meaning, the concept of meaning does not exist in the postmodern world, and there is only surface, and nothing lies beneath the surface. Everything is just what it appears. So, this poem is a product of a culture that only believes in the surfaces or in the appearances. It does not believe in any depth or anything that lies behind it. So this is the you can say that this is the message of the poem, and the poem must be read from that point of view or from that perspective. We cannot read it like traditional poems, which are connected because of a single thought, and that thought runs throughout the poem. And if we can find out that thought or that interpret that thought, then we will be able to understand the poem. These poems are not like that. They do not have any kind of coherence or any kind of um, causal relationship between the thoughts, and they are just, you can say, a series of images yoked together. If we take the uh, if we can use Samuel Johnson's phrase. And in this way, it is nothing. The poem is nothing but a series of images, a series of comparisons and similes and metaphors. So this is the end of Melodic Trains. Till our next lecture, take care.